So your Chief Justice, Mandisa has come out with weak excuses to try and defend why the Phala Phala judgment has been stalled and is late by over a year. So in this video, I'm going to show you what's going on there and what it means for Ramaphosa and South Africa, which we've agreed will prosper. So you ready? All right, press like and let's go. Let's start 2 years ago when most of the ANC MPs voted against the Section 89 panel report and said, yeah, it says Ramaphosa has something to answer about Phala Phala, but we think let's forget about it.
All parties have their own dynamics.
Parliament is required to act reasonably and rationally. There may be a case to be made that rejecting a report that said that you should go and do something is irrational and unreasonable. We will immediately reintroduce a request for an ad hoc committee, because whatever happens, we've got to get to the bottom of what happened at Phala Phala.
Today is a sad day in South Africa where Parliament sits to reject a report that is of their own initiative. They have spent not less than 6 million on doing those investigations and just decided to throw that 6 million into a bin.
We want to give the President a fair chance to come and explain to Parliament. And I think this is also part of the strategy of the President going to the Constitutional Court. I predict that he's now going to withdraw his files at the Constitutional Court.
That is true. As the IFP, we voted yes to the adoption report because that is our work, that's our process. That was an opportunity that was going to help us as Parliament to make our President account. This was a process we're going to make sure that we go deeper into the issue of Phala Phala. Unfortunately, the majority vote didn't favor us.
When one considers that the whole of Parliament accepted the initial motion to refer it to the independent panel, this is part of a process. So it doesn't make sense to us for the majority party to have voted against the independent panel at this early stage of the game. We believe there is a case to answer by the President.
But now a year ago, the EFF and the ATM took Parliament to the Constitutional Court, asking the Constitutional Court that vote was wrong, reverse it.
This report was concluded during the 6th administration, and there was also a debate about whether or not, now that there's a 7th administration, the 6th administration dissolved, there were elections, so there are new MPs, there's now a government of national unity, whether that report is still valid. So that's where you would have heard Justice Theron asking about what is the status of the report and what is its value.
So the judgment has been reserved, Zianda. Do we know when the court is likely to release its verdict?
Well, we are at the mercy of the Constitutional Court, Xoli, but certainly this is a matter, as you would have heard, of public interest and importance, but also in terms of precedence, in particular when it comes to the rules that guide an impeachment.
Right, so the EFF and the ATM are trying to revive that Section 89 panel report. Section 89 of our Constitution deals with the removal of a president, usually called impeachment. So it says the National Assembly, if they get a 2/3 majority, may remove the president from office if there's a serious violation of the constitutional law or serious misconduct, or the president can't perform his or her functions anymore. But now, if you are removed according to a Section 89, you also lose out on benefits of the office and can never serve in public office again. So now, a week ago, the Chief Justice was giving reports on how the judiciary is operating, and she was asked about this delayed judgment.
Your question about the Phala Phala judgment, I already spoke on that in my main presentation and explained, admitted the late delivery of judgments in the Apex Court, including other judgments that came from 2024, some even before this one was heard. And as I indicated, nothing weighs more heavily with the judiciary than when it is not able to carry out its mandate effectively. And its core mandate is delivering judgments expeditiously. So all efforts are being made to deliver judgments expeditiously. The fact that judgments are delivered late does not mean that judges are not working. They are working hard. But because of all these other issues I mentioned cause the delays, there are only so many hours in a day. There are only so many judges to do the job. And I can go on and on. But that is not an excuse. We should be in a position to get work out as soon as is reasonably demanded. But all I can say is that efforts being made to deliver that and other judgments still are outstanding as expeditiously as possible. And there is no sinister reason for delaying the judgment. It is just delayed, as have been the others. It is that. I wish I could give you a better answer, but that is what it is. The judgment will come out as soon as possible.
Boy, does she inspire confidence. So earlier she had given excuses, not enough budget, not enough judges, too many cases, and we're trying to process it. And then she ends with, there's no sinister motive. Basically, trust me. When institutions tell you to trust them, that's a massive red flag. The way that an institution says trust me is by releasing a timeline, what's gone wrong, what's being done, what's happening. That's how you say trust me, not with there is no sinister motive. No, that doesn't fly. So the Constitutional Court has delayed the judgment by over a year. This is a week ago, but then 2 days ago, the EFF went to deliver a demand at the ConCourt.
This is exactly a year since this court has heard this case, and no judgment has been delivered. According to the norms and the standards for judicial officers, every effort shall be made to hand down judgment no later than 3 months after the last hearing. This time frame exists because justice delayed is justice denied, and because prolonged silence from the court undermine the constitutional rights, public trust and integrity of the judiciary. The delay of 12 full months, 4 times of the accepted judicial standard, has shaken the nation's confidence in the court's ability to act without fear, favor and prejudice. We remind the court that the Constitution does not permit selective justice, nor does it allow delays that benefit the powerful. It demands transparency, accountability and equality before the law. A judgment concerning the impeachment process of a sitting president cannot be treated casually, buried under silence or delayed without consequence. The implications of our democracy are too serious. For this reason, we formally demand that the Constitutional Court immediately release the judgment in the Phala Phala matter. The EFF submits this memorandum with the seriousness the moment it demands, urging the Constitutional Court to restore confidence by handing this judgment without further delay.
My name is Zoleka Sonjo. I am the Director of the Constitutional Court. Today I am here to receive this memorandum. I will make sure that it is handed over to the Chief Justice today. Thank you.
All right, so the Constitutional Court has received the demand from the EFF, and this could go a couple of ways. The first possible outcome is that the Constitutional Court says that Parliament acted unlawfully by burying the Section 89 report and orders Parliament to restart the Section 89 process. So if this happens, they may have to either get a new Section 89 ad hoc committee or continue where they left off last time, meaning let's vote again on whether we go forward with this report or not. So if this happens, Section 89 of the Constitution will be very happy that it's been strengthened by the court and defended. The public will be super excited by this because they'll see that no one is above the law, and politicians are gonna be biting their nails. All of them. ANC will be biting their nails because this brings their president under fire. The DA will be biting their nails because the GNU will be placed at risk. And the GNU is very positive for the DA because for as long as the DA stays in the GNU, that is how much long the DA has to reverse the stigma about the DA bringing back apartheid and the DA being white danger. And so the DA will also be biting their nails because going back on this will threaten the GNU. So, option number 2, possible outcome, the court says that Parliament acted unlawfully and says just reconsider your decision. So if that happens, then Parliament must still process that 2022 vote and follow the proper procedures. If this happens, once again, Section 89 of the Constitution will be very happy that the Constitutional Court has backed it up, and politicians will still be biting nails because they'll have to vote again. It reminds the public of President and Phala Phala in a very strong way, which for the ANC, it's hectic because that hits their own president's credibility and hits the whole party. And people are getting used to the fact that DA can be in power. But now this will threaten that. And so the DA has now to balance between the long-term good of the DA and possibly the country and the long-term good of rule of law. So politicians would be biting their nails with this outcome. Third possible outcome is that the court says Parliament acted lawfully. They dismiss the challenge. Now they'd be saying Parliament acted lawfully, which means that Section 89 in the Constitution would be weakened because it would mean Section 89 is purely a political process, has nothing to do with right and wrong, whether the president has actually acted wrongly, meaning Section 89 is just a political suggestion and no longer a section that has legal teeth. So Section 89 will cry with this outcome, but the ANC and future majority parties, they will throw a party. But now the public would bite their nails with this outcome because the public surely thinks Section 89 should be linked to right and wrong, right? If the president has really done something wrong, we want to know that they are not above the law if they happen to have a majority. Now, outcome number 4 could be that the court dismisses the EFF and ATM, but on technical grounds, right? So they say, maybe take it to High Court. Or they say, well, you took long to come because you came after a year. But just something that says we don't get involved because of separation of powers, right? Because we have the president and their cabinet, we have Parliament here, and we have the Constitutional Court. Now, all three report to the Constitution, but the Constitutional Court is the best friend of the Constitution, while the cabinet and Parliament are kind of friends with the Constitution. So Section 89 would feel betrayed if the Constitutional Court says, I don't take sides here, and just dismisses it on technical grounds. But the last possible outcome is that the court just gives a declaratory warning to Parliament. So the court just comes out and says, Parliament, watch out, be careful, that was wrong. So Section 89 would be happy that it's been stood up for. Ramaphosa, of course, would be happy that he's left off the hook. Of course, future presidents would bite their nails because the declaratory order would have strengthened Section 89, but not for today, for the future. And the public will bite their nails to realize that Ramaphosa has been allowed to be above the law. So, with the pressure on the Constitutional Court now, we'll see which way they go. But the best outcome for us would be outcome 1, that the court says that was rubbish. How do you get a report and just use majority to say we're not going after Ramaphosa? But we don't know which way it will go. But now, while all of this is going on, it's not like everything is hunky-dory for Ramaphosa back at the ANC, because 2 weeks ago,
ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa has dared his political detractors in the NEC to give him a date on which day he should resign. In a heated direct political overview report, ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa dared his political detractors to stop discussing his exit in dark corners like cowards. Ramaphosa told the NEC that if he is asked to resign, he will even do it tomorrow. In a frank address, he told his detractors to come and raise the matter of them wanting him to resign to the NEC. The ANC president's comments come after media reports that he is planning to resign after the G20 summit. Acting national spokesperson Nongceba Mhlawuli has insisted that there is no departure lounge in the party's National Executive Committee. She says President Cyril Ramaphosa remains the organization's leader and is expected to serve his full term until 2027.
There is no departure lounge in the National Executive Committee. This National Executive Committee, with its president, was elected in December 2022. Our term ends in December 2027, and our term will end with President Cyril Ramaphosa as the president of the ANC, where he will then be handing over, and that whatever other rumors that are there, we cannot speak to or verify for any other reason.
But then 2 days ago,
so now it looks like these rumors of Ramaphosa resigning are not going away. And now it seems like there are a couple of people inside the ANC applauding for Ramaphosa actually to be recalled. And the ANC Women's League have released a statement. You know, guys, every time in politics, they say that where there is smoke, there is fire. I remember when these rumors started, the ANC made light of these issues. Like, nah, man. Yeah, we understand that there are one or two, maybe few people that are talking about the president resigning, but it is not such a big deal. But if you pay real attention, you would actually see that the ANC has been addressing these matters for a long time. I think I came across a video somewhere of Fikile Mbalula talking about this thing as early as the beginning of the year. And I think this is the reason why Ramaphosa has finally decided to address these matters, because clearly he can see that there is something that is brewing in the ANC. So now the ANC Women's League, as if they have some sort of a power, they're coming out to condemn the people that are allegedly plotting for the president to be removed from power. And this is a statement that they released yesterday on the 30th of November. And it says that the African National Congress Women's League statement on the alleged plot to recall the president Cyril Ramaphosa. The ANC Women's League is outraged at the alleged plot by some of the ANC National Executive Committee members who want to see the president removed from the office probably in the next NEC meeting to be convened on Monday, the 1st of September, today. The ANC's Women's League would like to deposit its full confidence together with all our structures in the leadership of President, both at Luthuli House and the Union Buildings, as the leader of the Government of National Unity. The ANC's Women's League stand in combat to defend the ANC and its highest office from the hooligans in the black, green and gold colors who are hell-bent to destroy what is left of the movement of Oliver Tambo.
So that's where we are. We'll see how the court case comes out, and we see how all of that impacts Ramaphosa, who may not finish his term depending how it all plays out. My biblical reaction: because the sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. So when justice gets delayed, culture suffers, because everyone gets used to the fact that they can get away with anything. Well, talented people flee, investment flees, it ends up impacting the economy. It ends up impacting everything in a country. So The Constitutional Court, we can see what's going on. They being extra careful because they chicken. So we hope they come out soon and never again tell us, trust us. We're not your kids. If you want trust, release a statement telling us exactly why it's delayed, what happened, what is going to happen. You get trust from us by transparency, not telling us to trust you. Especially Constitutional Court, because you guys are one of the key pillars that have some of us still being in South Africa right now. So please, Chief Justice Maya, we don't need you asking us for understanding. We're not your friends. You, Chief Justice and Constitutional Court, are what we rely on as the best friend of our Constitution and keeping things together. So let's see what goes on though. So I have to close by saying no man can serve two masters. Either you love the one or hate the other, or you'll despise the one and honor the other. You cannot serve God and Karl Marx. So let's make history together. Cheers.